Today, we re-diving deep into a topic so many of you have asked about, what it is really like to run a thrift store business. I've been in this game for a while now, and let me tell you, it's a wild, rewarding, and sometimes chaotic ride. So, if you've ever dreamed of opening your own secondhand wonderland, grab a cup of coffee, and let's get into the nitty-gritty of it all. It's the question on everyone's mind, right? How much money can you actually make? Well, it's not as simple as buy low, sell high. Your profit margin in a thrift store is a constant balancing act. Some days, you'll feel like a treasure hunter who's struck gold. You might buy a box of stuff for $20 and find a vintage designer jacket inside that you can sell for $200. Those are the moments that keep you going. But other days, you might buy a whole van full of donations and find that most of it is unsellable. The key is volume and consistency. You're not relying on one or two big sales. You're relying on hundreds of small ones. $1.80, $5 there, it all adds up. Your pricing strategy is crucial. You have to know your market. Are you in a trendy college town where vintage band tees fly off the shelves? Or are you in a suburban area where families are looking for affordable kids' clothes and household goods? Your pricing has to reflect what your customers are willing to pay. Overpriced things, and they'll just sit there, taking up valuable floor space. Underprice them, and you're leaving money on the table. It takes time to develop an instinct for this. I spend hours researching brands, styles, and what similar items are selling for online and in other stores. It's constant market research. A profitable thrift store isn't just a shop. It's a finely tuned machine of sourcing, pricing, and selling. Now, let's move on to everyone's favorite topic, taxes. Ooh, the joy. When you run a business, you can't escape them. As a thrift store owner, you're dealing with sales tax, income tax, and potentially payroll tax if you have employees. It is absolutely essential to keep meticulous records from day one. Every single purchase, every single sale, every utility bill, everything needs to be tracked. I use accounting software, and honestly, it's a lifesaver. It helps me categorize all my expenses and track my revenue, which makes tax time so much less of a nightmare. And here's a pro tip. Learn about deductions. The cost of goods you buy to resell, your rent, your utilities, the fuel you use to pick up donations, marketing costs, even the bags you give customers. So many of these things can be business expenses that lower your taxable income. Don't try to figure this all out on your own. My best advice is to hire a good accountant, at least for the first year or two. They will save you more money and headaches than they cost. I promise. They can help you set up your business structure correctly, whether it's a sole proprietorship or an LLC, and ensure you're compliant with all the local and federal tax laws. Don't mess with taxes. Get professional help. Of course, with profits come potential losses. It's an unavoidable part of retail. And thrifting has its own unique challenges. The biggest source of loss for a thrift store is often unsellable inventory. You might get a huge donation, and you're so excited, but then you sort through it and realize half of it is stained, torn, or just completely out of style. You've spent time and maybe even money to acquire it, and now you have to figure out how to dispose of it. Some of it can be recycled, some can be donated to textile recycling programs, but it's still a loss of potential revenue. Another major loss is theft. Shoplifting is a sad reality in any retail environment. Because thrift store prices are low, some people might think it's no big deal to slip a small item into their pocket. But like I said before, those small sales add up, and so do the small thefts. You have to be vigilant. A good store layout with clear sight lines, attentive staff, and maybe even a simple camera system can deter a lot of it. Then there are other unexpected losses. A burst pipe could damage a rack of clothing. A power outage could spoil your plans for an online sale. You have to have a contingency fund for these kinds of emergencies. Running a business is about managing risk, and being prepared for losses is a huge part of that. Okay, let's shift gears and talk about something a little more exciting. Location, location, location. Where you set up your shop can make or break your business. You might think the cheapest rent is the best option, but that's not always true. A cheap spot with zero-foot traffic is a recipe for disaster. You need visibility. You want to be in a place where people are already walking or driving by. Being near other popular businesses, like a coffee shop, a grocery store, or a post office, can be a huge advantage. People might pop into your store on a whim while they're out running other errands. Think about parking, too. If customers can't easily park, they might just drive on by. Accessibility is key. Is your store easy to get into for someone with a stroller or a wheelchair? Also, consider the size and layout of the space. You need a good-sized back room for sorting, cleaning, and storing inventory. The sales floor needs to be big enough so that it doesn't feel cramped and cluttered, even when it's full of treasures. A cluttered, disorganized store is overwhelming for customers. A clean, well-lit, and organized space is inviting and encourages people to stay and browse. Don't underestimate the power of a good location and a welcoming atmosphere. It sets the entire tone for your business. Now, for a factor you might not have considered: the weather. Yes, the weather has a huge impact on a brick-and-mortar thrift store. A beautiful, sunny Saturday can bring in crowds of people who are out and about. Everyone's in a good mood, and they're ready to shop. Those are often your best sales days. On the other hand, a week of non-stop rain or a major snowstorm can be absolutely brutal. Your foot traffic can drop to almost zero. People just don't want to leave the house. You have to learn to roll with it. I use those slow, rainy days to my advantage. It's the perfect time to catch up on sorting inventory, pricing new items, deep cleaning the store, and planning social media content. You can also run weather-related promotions. For example, on a rainy day, you could post on social media: "It's pouring outside. Come stay dry with us and get 20% off all raincoats and umbrellas." Turn a negative into a positive. The weather also dictates your inventory. You're not going to sell a lot of heavy winter coats in the middle of July. You have to be strategic and rotate your stock seasonally. Be a few steps ahead, putting out sweaters and jackets in late summer and shorts and sundresses in late winter. Understanding these seasonal rhythms is crucial for keeping your sales consistent. Let's talk about the heart of your business: your customers. The people who shop at thrift stores are some of the most diverse and interesting customers you will ever meet. You'll have the treasure hunters, who are looking for that one-of-a-kind vintage piece. You'll have the resellers, who are looking for brand names they can flip online. You'll have the families on a budget who are looking for affordable clothing for their growing kids. You'll have the DIY enthusiasts who see an old piece of furniture and imagine it painted and repurposed. Your job is to cater to all of them. The best way to do that is to get to know them. Excellent customer service costs you nothing, but can generate more loyalty and word-of-mouth marketing than any paid ad. Finally, let's talk about employees. In the beginning, you might do everything yourself. And I mean everything: sourcing, sorting, cleaning, pricing, stocking, selling, marketing, bookkeeping, you name it. You're looking for someone who shares your passion and understands your vision. You need someone who is friendly, reliable, and trustworthy. A great employee is someone who loves thrifting themselves. They'll get excited about the inventory, they'll be able to help customers find hidden gems, and their enthusiasm will be contagious. Treat your employees well. Pay them a fair wage, be flexible with scheduling when you can, and create a positive work environment. Your employees are the face of your business when you're not there. If they're happy, it will shine through in their interactions with customers, and that is absolutely priceless. So, there you have it. A whirlwind tour of what it's really like to run a thrift store. It's a business of highs and lows, of treasure hunts and trash bags, of profits and taxes. It's a lot of hard work, but if you have a passion for sustainability, a love for unique finds, and a desire to build a community, it can be the most fulfilling job in the world. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you have any more questions about the thrift biz, drop them in the comments below. I love hearing from you. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes content. See you in the next one.